Good morning, everybody. I hope you're well. For the past couple of weeks, we've been thinking about being knowledgeable and how important that is, knowing things and finding things out. For the next couple of weeks, this week and next week, I would like us to concentrate on another one of the IB learner profile attributes. I want us to concentrate on really being thinkers. So to start off, I'm going to read you a story about somebody who had to think fast and make a plan to sort out a problem. The story you can see on your screen is called Finmacool and the Giant's Causeway. It's a story that comes from Ireland about a giant, so I don't think it's a real story, but it's good fun. And while I'm reading, see if you can work out who is the fast thinker in this story. Chapter 1. Long, long ago, there lived in Ireland a mighty giant by the name of Finmacool. Fin was taller than an oak tree and stronger than a dozen oxen. He was brave and kind, but he was also very proud. "I am the greatest giant of them all," he would boast. "There's no one who can beat me." Across the sea in Scotland, there lived another giant. This one was called Angus. He was huge and strong with an angry red face, and everyone feared him. One day, Angus was told of Fin's boasting. When he heard that Fin thought he was the greatest giant of all, Angus flew into a rage. "I'm the greatest giant," he roared. "I'll teach that Fin a lesson he won't forget." Angus strode angrily to the shore. He looked across at Ireland. Cupping his hands to his mouth, he bellowed, "Hey, Finmacool, come and see what a real giant looks like, you great baby." The breeze carried his words to Fin, and when Fin heard them, his temper rose. Standing on the cliffs of County Antrim, he roared back, "All I see is a giant fool." At this, Angus shook in anger. "If I could only get across the sea to you," he roared, "I would teach you a lesson you'd never forget." "That's easily done," Fin replied. He tore a great rock from the cliffs and hurled it into the waves, the first stone of a giant pathway across the sea. Angus began to do the same, but as the giants drew closer to one another, Fin began to worry. He was getting tired, and Angus did look very big and very strong. So Fin hurried home to his wife Una. She was not as big or as strong as he was, but she was very clever. He told her all about Angus and the path across the sea. Una sighed. "Fin," she said, "you're being a big baby." "I am not being a baby," Fin said. Una put a baby's bonnet on his head. "You are now," she told him, and she gave him a nightgown and made their bathtub look like a giant cot. "Lie down," she told Fin, "and leave Angus to me." Soon there came a loud knock on the door. Una opened it. There stood Angus, his face redder and angrier than ever. "I've come to see Fin," he growled. Una smiled. "Come in," she said. "He's out hunting, but he'll be back soon." Chapter 2. "Are you a friend of Fin's?" Una asked. "No," snarled Angus. "I've come to show him that I'm stronger than he is." "Really?" said Una. "A little fellow like you?" "Little?" said Angus crossly. "I'm the biggest giant there is." Una smiled. "I don't mean to be rude," she said, "but you're hardly bigger than Fin's baby." And she nodded at the cot where Fin lay staring up with wide, nervous eyes. "Goo, goo," said Fin. Angus looked at the cot. "My," he said, "what a big baby." "Not really," Una said. "Not when you think how big his daddy is." Now Angus began to worry. If Fin's baby was so big, Fin must be much bigger. Still, he said, "Fin may be big, but he can't be as strong as I am." I'm glad to hear it, said Una. I've a job that needs doing. If you're stronger than Finn, you'll find it easy. I'm sure I will, said Angus. I'm glad to hear it, Una said. I'd like you to turn the house around. Angus stared. Turn the house around, he said. Why, yes, said Una. Finn always turns the house around at this time of day. I like the sun to shine in the door. Angus gulped. He went outside and took hold of the house. Then he heaved and heaved and heaved, and very slowly he turned the house around. In his cot, Finn felt the house move. He put his thumb in his mouth and sucked it, worrying. Angus must be very strong to do such a thing. At last, Angus finished turning the house. There, he said proudly. Well done, said Una. Finn can do it much faster than that, mind you. But that wasn't bad for such a little fellow, Una went on. You must be tired now. Come and have a snack. Chapter 3. Angus went in and sat down. Una gave him a cake. She had just made it and it was still hot. Try this, she said. Finn likes nothing better than one of these cakes after he's been working hard. Thanks, said Angus, and he took a big bite. But Angus did not know that Una had baked a stone inside the cake. Ow! He yelled. What's wrong? Una asked. I broke my tooth on your cake, Angus howled. Really, said Una, you must have very soft teeth. Finn loves these cakes. So does the baby, she added. She gave a cake to Finn, but she was careful to give him a cake without a stone inside. Finn ate it in 3 big bites. More, he said. Mummy, more. Angus stared. That baby must have very strong teeth, he said. Una smiled. Not really, she said. Not when you think how strong his daddy is. You can feel them if you like. So Angus put his hand in Finn's mouth to feel his teeth, and Finn bit as hard as he could. Angus yelled with pain. Just then Una said, I think I hear Finn coming home. Angus's red face turned pale. If Finn's baby was so strong, Finn must be even stronger. Is that the time? He said. I'm sorry, but I have to go. Angus, fight Daddy, said Finn. Not today, Angus said. Angus, fight baby, said Finn, and he jumped out of the cot. This was too much for Angus. He turned and ran. Help, he cried. There's a giant baby after me. He ran all the way back to Scotland, tearing up the path so that neither Finn nor the giant baby could follow. And Finn and his clever wife laughed and laughed, knowing that Angus would never cross the sea to Ireland in search of the mighty Finmacool. If you ever go to County Antrim, you may see the few rocks that Angus left behind. They are still called the Giant's Causeway, and they are one of the wonders of the world. So I chose that story to share with you because the character Finmacool had a problem. He didn't know what to do, but his wife was able to think very quickly and make a plan. Now, I know that you don't have to be a thinker to save yourself from fighting a giant, but you do have to be a thinker to tackle problems that you might have in your work. It's all too easy just to say, I don't know how to do something, and to give up. We have to be thinkers. We have to face problems and solve them by thinking. And that takes practice. It's not just something that comes easily. But there are some things that you can do to help make you a better thinker. So let's have a look. To train yourself to be a good thinker, try to get into the habit of using the 4 B's. The first B is brain. Stop and think. Maybe you do already have the knowledge to solve the problem. When we panic, when we look at something and we're not sure how to do it, we panic and we think, I can't do it, I can't do it. And then all of our brain power is taken up with, oh my goodness, I can't do it, what am I going to do? And none of our brain power is taken up with solving the problem. So look in your brain first. Stop, be calm, think. If you don't already have the knowledge, where can you find it out? Could you go to the second B? Could you go to a book? And as you can see from the picture here, we can also include Google and YouTube and electronic means like that. But could you find the answer in a book? For example, if you don't know what a word means and you've looked in your brain and you definitely don't know what the word means, look in a book. Look it up in a dictionary. Don't just think, well, I don't know what that word means, so I can't read any of this. Use a book. Find the knowledge from somewhere. If you can't find the knowledge in your brain or in a book, could you ask a buddy? The third B, could you ask a friend? Would working together with somebody else help you solve the problem? If that's something that your teacher's happy for you to do, if it's right for what you're doing, then that's another option. That's your third B. So you've looked in your brain, you've looked in a book, you've worked with a buddy. The fourth B, ask the boss, the teacher. Okay, the teacher, as long as you have worked through those other stages, that might be what you have to do to get the knowledge and the others' understanding. Okay, so when you're faced with a problem, don't panic like Finmacool was doing. Think coolly and calmly like Una did and make a plan. Train yourself to be a good thinker by remembering the 4 B's. Look in your brain, look in a book, work with a buddy, and then ask the boss. So this week as you're working, and some of you are starting to come back into school and work in school, and inshallah the rest of you will be coming in over the next couple of weeks. So whether you're doing your work at home or in school, I want you to really, really concentrate and put in the forefront of your minds being a thinker and being an independent thinker and using brain, book, buddy, boss. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more next week about being a good thinker. Have a great week, everybody. Speak to you soon.